Hi, I'm David Kelso, your neighborly podcast nerd with the Appleton Podcast Co-op, and welcome to the podcast Fast Class. Number 8, we talked about distribution and your trailer. Lesson number 9, we're going to talk about marketing and monetization and maybe sprinkle in a little bit of show notes in there as well. So when most podcasters starting out, they don't really have a marketing strategy. It's just, I'm sort of interested in this thing and I want to talk about it. That's great. If you want to take it to the next level and you want to monetize, you're going to have to put together a marketing strategy. Other than word of mouth, which is the best way to get people to listen, how else do you get new listeners to listen to your show? Well, the first thing you got to do is figure out who that listener is. Who's that person that is absolutely going to listen every single time? And maybe your mother? And maybe someone else. I would try and get a little more tuned in to be focused down on what it is. If you want to look up more information about this, you can go look up the listening avatar, your ideal listener. There's a lot of great content out there by people trying to figure out what your ideal listener is. Okay, so after you've sort of figured that out, here are a few sort of general methods you can try for marketing your show. First, be a guest on other related podcasts. There's people that are going to have a different audience than you, but maybe that audience is still going to be interested in your thing as well. In the same reverse way, you can invite those same people onto your podcast, not only give them some cred, but also tap into their audience yet again. Next, you can engage with people on Twitter or other forums. This may seem straightforward, but if you just have, in your bio, I'm a podcaster that talks about this, and then you're constantly talking about that with people, and you're setting yourself up as an expert, and people will be curious. Next, you could write content for newsletters related to your show, related to your content. Not everyone is going to be listening all the time. Maybe there's something that's related to your show that you want to write some content about that would be great for a quick little blog instead of a full episode. Now, the next ones are sort of paid ones. I would definitely recommend looking around, shop around for a little bit, but look for a nice newsletter that's related to your show, related to the topic of your show, and buy an ad in that newsletter. I think emails are really, really up there still in terms of what people check, and being on an email list and getting in front of those people are subscribed. They're engaged for a reason. And that same idea, you're going to have to pay a little bit, but buying ads on podcast listening platforms like CastBox, Castio, and those other sort of third-party ones allow you to buy ads on them specifically. So you can pay a couple bucks just like you would a Facebook ad, but you can target people that are specifically already listening to podcasts. So you're like right in the same boat, because it's like, hey, thanks for listening. You're listening to this. Now go listen to our show because we think it's interesting. I was just having a talk with one of our members, and he just reached 1 million downloads, and a lot of that strategy was buying ads on those other podcast listening platforms. So you should definitely check it out. So with all that marketing, it's a lot of time and money that's sort of going out the door. So how do you bring in that moolah? Now, I'm not a pro monetizer by any means. I don't do any affiliate marketing or anything like that, and APC Presents has currently made $0 for us. But these are sort of some of the standard generic methods. You got to get really specific, and there's some people that could tell you a lot more information, especially about Patreon and et cetera, et cetera. So, first one, ads on your show. You're probably not going to get to ads on your show for a while. They do require you to have a minimum of downloads per month to be able to get in front of people. There are certain ads platforms out there like Podcorn that will allow you to sort of set the price for your show. So even if you have something really low, but you're really actively engaging with people and growing your show, you may be able to show that and get some smaller ads on your show. The next thing you could do, maybe there's a product you really believe in, or a website, a course, a service, maybe it's even your own. But affiliate sales, and this is how people have been making money on the internet for the last 25 plus years. 20 years. 25 plus years? 20 years. We weren't on the ArcNet yet. The next one you could do is paid subscribers. Apple just released a new platform within the Apple Podcasts that allows you to do paid subscriptions directly in there. There's other ones like Patreon and what's the other one that I'm thinking of? Losing my mind. There's other platforms out there that will allow you to do paid subscriptions. So you don't necessarily need 10,000, 20,000 people to be making a successful paid subscriber podcast. One, you have to be making more content than what's in your public feed. You have to be making more stuff that people actually want to listen to. So there is a lot more that goes into it. But imagine you only charge maybe $4 for that extra feed, and you only have 1,000 people. That seems like a small number, but 1,000 people paying $4 is still $4,000 a month in your pocket that you can use to grow your podcast even more. And those people, if you do it right and you make yourself set yourself up correctly, you can get a pretty decent following. Pat Flynn, Passive Income, he's got a good podcast that you could check out to learn more about paid subscriptions, affiliate sales, and all that stuff. Next one, this is an interesting road to go down. Definitely requires more of a larger following, but merchandise, you can make money off that. T-shirts, mugs, pins, other stuff. If you're hilarious, people might buy your merch. The next one, the last one, is sort of just a boost for your business. And Aaron talked about this last time. If you're doing a podcast every month, and that happens to bring in a lead for your work, whether you're a sales consultant or whatever, that brings in a lead for work and that makes you profitable on your business. Even though you're may not be making any money just with the podcast, it really helps to help people know who you are even before they get the opportunity to meet you in person. They feel like they can know you, and there's a level of trust that people get with podcasts that you may not get other places. So, and just to touch on show notes. Show notes are super important. Having links for people to follow are vital. If you want to track them, especially if you're doing ads or anything like that, make sure you get like Bitly to do some tracking. I know Captivate has built-in short links that you can use for tracking stuff within your notes, and then it lines up within your stats so you can see who clicked based on when the episode was released. And really keep it short and simple, unless you're doing a blog where people can actually like do a full read up and read it in a nice format. Within Apple, within Spotify, it doesn't look nice. It doesn't look great. So keep it short, maybe 1 to 2 sentence description, bio for your guest, whoever it may be, and then just some links, maybe some persistent links that will always be there in every episode. Your guest links up at the top. Make good show notes. Let people be curious and don't let them have to scrub back through a million times and, what was that URL again? Oh, I don't know. That being said, that all still comes down to who's your ideal listener. What's that listener avatar that you are trying to target with your show? So you can share with us and watch this video right here, right in this Facebook group. And don't forget, new and old members can win some sweet gear, and we will see you next week. I'm so sorry I missed last week. I might throw it in there sometime, but for this week, let's concentrate. Share down below who your ideal listener is. If you're new, maybe we have some old people, old members, put their ideal listener in the comments, as we can get sort of brainstorm together, see where people are at with their marketing strategy. Thanks so much for joining me for this and for bearing with me as I'm still a little sick from last week. So have a great day, and I hope to be better next week.